Retirement is sold as the finish line, a peaceful reward after decades of work. You're told that if you just keep contributing, stay invested, and trust the system, everything will work out. But what if that story is incomplete? What if the retirement advice most people follow is built on assumptions that no longer hold true? And what if the biggest risks to your retirement aren't market crashes, but the quiet realities no one talks about? This is the truth about retirement funds. Not the marketing version, not the simplified charts, but the real mechanics behind how retirement money grows, leaks, and sometimes fails. Because while advisors talk about averages, diversification, and long-term growth, they rarely talk about fees, inflation, longevity risk, sequence risk, or the psychological traps that derail even well-funded retirees. And if you don't understand these truths, you may reach retirement with far less security than you expect. Let's start with the first uncomfortable reality. Most retirement projections are built on historical averages that may not repeat. For decades, financial planning has relied on the idea that stock markets return roughly 7 to 10% annually over the long term. While that has been true historically for U.S. equities before inflation, those averages hide enormous variability. Markets do not grow smoothly. Returns are uneven, clustered, and heavily dependent on when you enter and exit the market. Two investors with the same contributions can end up with vastly different outcomes simply because of timing. This leads to a risk that most advisors mention briefly, but rarely emphasize: sequence of returns risk. If the market performs poorly early in retirement, when withdrawals begin, your portfolio can suffer permanent damage. Even if markets recover later, the money already withdrawn during downturns cannot recover. This is why retirees who experience major bear markets early in retirement often run out of money faster than expected, even with conservative withdrawal rates. Another truth advisors often downplay is inflation, especially over long retirement periods. A 2 to 3% inflation rate may sound harmless, but over 25 or 30 years, it cuts purchasing power dramatically. What costs $50,000 a year today could require $100,000 or more in the future. Many retirement plans underestimate future living costs by assuming stable expenses, when healthcare, housing, and long-term care costs historically rise faster than general inflation. Healthcare alone represents one of the largest threats to retirement stability. Studies consistently show that retirees spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on medical expenses over their lifetime, even with insurance coverage. Medicare does not cover everything. Long-term care, dental care, vision care, and many prescription costs are paid out of pocket. Yet many retirement projections either exclude these expenses or grossly underestimate them. Then there's longevity risk, the possibility of living longer than expected. While living longer is a blessing, financially, it can be a challenge. Life expectancy has increased significantly over the last century, and many people now spend 20 to 30 years in retirement. Retirement planning used to assume a shorter retirement period. Today, that assumption is outdated. Outliving your money is now one of the most common fears among retirees, and for good reason. Advisors also rarely talk openly about how fees quietly erode retirement wealth. A difference of just 1% in annual fees can reduce a portfolio's value by hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Mutual fund expense ratios, advisory fees, administrative costs, and trading fees compound in the opposite direction of returns. They don't just reduce growth, they permanently remove capital from your portfolio. Many investors don't realize how much they are paying because fees are often embedded and not clearly itemized. Employer-sponsored retirement plans are another area where the truth is often softened. While 401ks and similar plans are powerful tools, they are not inherently sufficient. Contribution limits restrict how much you can save each year. Investment options are often limited. And employer matches, while valuable, are frequently misunderstood. Many workers assume the match alone guarantees success, without realizing that long-term outcomes still depend heavily on market conditions and personal contribution discipline. There's also a major psychological factor most advisors don't prepare clients for: behavioral risk. Investors are human. During market downturns, fear causes people to sell low. During bull markets, greed encourages them to chase returns. Studies consistently show that the average investor underperforms the market due to poor timing decisions. Retirement funds don't fail only because of bad markets. They fail because emotions override strategy. Another uncomfortable truth is that diversification does not eliminate risk. It spreads risk, but it cannot prevent losses during systemic crises. During major financial downturns, correlations between asset classes often increase. Stocks, bonds, and even some alternative assets can fall simultaneously. Diversification is essential, but it is not a shield against every scenario. Taxes are another major factor that is often misunderstood. Many retirement accounts offer tax deferral, not tax elimination. Withdrawals from traditional retirement accounts are taxed as ordinary income, which can push retirees into higher tax brackets than expected. Required minimum distributions force withdrawals, whether you need the money or not, potentially increasing tax burdens later in retirement. Tax planning does not end at retirement. It becomes even more important. Social Security is also frequently misrepresented. While it provides a foundation, it was never designed to replace full income. Benefits replace only a portion of pre-retirement earnings, and the system faces long-term funding challenges. Claiming strategies matter greatly. Claim too early, and benefits are permanently reduced. Claim too late without adequate savings, and you may struggle financially in the interim. Another truth rarely discussed is that retirement expenses are not linear. Spending often follows a smile curve. Expenses are higher in early retirement when people are active, travel, and pursue hobbies. They may decline in mid-retirement, then rise again later due to healthcare and assistance needs. Planning for a flat spending rate ignores this reality and can lead to underfunding critical later life expenses. Market volatility itself is not the enemy. Unpreparedness is. Retirement funds are vulnerable when plans are rigid. Flexibility is one of the most powerful but least discussed tools in retirement planning. The ability to adjust spending, delay withdrawals, work part-time, or rebalance strategically can significantly improve outcomes. Yet many plans are built on fixed assumptions that don't adapt to real-world conditions. Another hard truth is that retirement planning is not a one-time event. Many people set up accounts, choose funds, and never revisit their strategy. But markets change, personal circumstances change, tax laws change. Inflation changes. A retirement plan that worked 10 years ago may be dangerously outdated today. Finally, there's the truth that most advisors won't say directly. No one can guarantee retirement outcomes. Projections are estimates, not promises. Models rely on assumptions. Advisors manage probabilities, not certainties. Anyone claiming otherwise is overselling confidence. So what does this all mean for you? It means retirement success is not about chasing perfect returns or following generic advice. It's about understanding risk, managing expectations, controlling costs, staying disciplined, and adapting over time. It means asking harder questions, demanding transparency, and taking an active role in your financial future. Retirement funds are powerful tools, but only when you understand both their strengths and their limitations. Blind trust is not a strategy. Awareness is. If this script helped you see retirement planning in a new light, beyond the surface level advice, then don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel for more honest, data-driven insights that cut through financial myths and help you make smarter, long-term decisions. Your future self will thank you.